requested that letter in the mail from the guys saying that we can do from 8 a.m. to no later than 10 p.m.
Yeah, it said 10,
I was told by
it said
Craig
10 p.m. on it, the letter, I got the letter.
That's per ordinance,
So,
yes.
we weren't
For
there.
a nuisance, to not create a nuisance.
Yeah, we weren't
But
thinking,
then, on weekends, I don't work unless I'm called in, the public works guys don't work unless they're called in. So how do I inspect that on a weekend?
you-
How do our public works personnel pull their inspection if I don't go do it? It's either the
did
public
you
works
inspect it
guys
the
or
first,
it's me that
did
do
you
the
inspect it the
inspection.
first time I dug it?
No, sir. It's either myself or the public works supervisors that do the excavation inspections when they are final. We don't do them on weekends.
They could have come and looked at it any time, but what I'm saying is, nobody looked at when I dug it.
I wasn't called to do a final inspection on that address.
They didn't even tell me they needed to do a final inspection. We fixed it and covered it back up, and they come turn my water back on the first time. I didn't
I've
even,
got pictures from one of our public works people that's, and an email that says this is passed.
that was this last time, the first time I did it. If you go back and look at your records, a year before that, I fixed another section of my water line on downstream.
I can't help you with what happened a year ago.
All right, I want to thank you guys. I'm just telling you, ma'am, your question, I would be willing to sit down and discuss something. But as far as this blowout and this $5,000, I feel that I'm at no fault whatsoever on that. The first one, I would be willing to sit down and discuss something with you guys on that. Because, we did, I can say all I want, but we truly didn't know that boulder was the block for the fire hydrant because it was so long and back so far. But, we did pull it out. So I would be willing to sit down and discuss something on that.
Thank you.
There's no problem with that. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm totally innocent on the situation as far as us pulling that rock out. But the whole point I was trying to make is if the city would have did the right thing 50 years ago, and all we know in the 70s, they probably didn't do things like right most of the time. But if they would have rerouted the water line, instead of just setting a 2,000-pound boulder on somebody's water line, where in the world, would you ever think that was right, sir? Would you ever do that? I'm just asking questions.
I've been around construction a lot. As I mentioned to him, I hauled concrete to St. Louis County Water. I saw how they did it. I saw the men out there digging a 3x3 hole or whatever it was, just to get hired on that company. You still do that?
They do it in St. Louis.
Okay. So I'm probably a little more informed than the ladies here. But I guess if, I can see 50, 60 years ago, any city doing something like that, because it's not like it is now.
I agree 100%.
With lawsuits.
But in the same process, even though they did it 50 or 60 years ago, is it right? That's all I got to say.
I didn't say it was right or wrong.
I wasn't trying to be
Wouldn't do it that
rude or
way.
anything else. Like I said last time, I'm not trying to be rude. I don't have. He's saying another 5,000 to put the fire hydrant back in. That's coming to 13. I ain't got it, folks. And why I said I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm not going to lose a house that I helped my daughter get with the money she got from her mom passing away, unfortunately. I will do whatever it takes to the day I'm on this earth to protect her and that for her, because that's what she wanted, So that's why I'm coming at when I said what I said,
I'm going to recommend to them that they go to executive session to discuss it, so it's up to them to vote, but that's where it will take place more than likely.
So you'll contact me back?
Yes. Yeah, you'll be contacted.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Started off.
Nothing at this time. I would request that the board go into executive session to discuss potential litigation, and later, whenever we get to that point in the agenda.
Administrator Stolberg.
Okay. I just have a couple of things. First is fire hydrant painting. We have a number of fire hydrants in the city that need painting. And we have an ordinance that was passed in 2009 that indicates that the fire district is responsible for painting the hydrants. Excuse me. And that Public Works installs, maintains, and keeps them obstruction-free. The problem is that the fire district was not aware that they are required to paint the fire hydrants, and kind of believed that Public Works would take that over also. We just don't have enough people and everything to paint all of our fire hydrants. So we got our building inspector together with Jason, Public Works Director, and the fire chief, and we talked about this, and we came up with a possible solution that we would do a program that combines the resources of the fire district and the city, and to engage a community partnership program. Part of that program would include labor from groups, community service, schools, civic groups, people on court mandated community service, things of that nature. And additionally, we would develop and adopt a hydrant program, which would allow residents and business owners to adopt their local hydrants within specified guidelines, allow them to paint their hydrant on a scheme of their own. The only requirement would be that what's that called, the bonnet?
Bonnet.
The bonnet of the hydrant would have to be painted a specific color designated by its pressure, and I guess its flow. Yeah. So that's kind of where we are with that. I did reach out to the school. The school has a group that wishes to participate in this program. So we have some labor already set up, and so we're thinking about getting this program written out and ready in September, and then start the program in October.
With the ordinance written the way that it is, will the program stipulate who is going to supply the paint? Obviously, at least as the way I'm understanding the ordinance now, that should be done by the fire district unless we, rewrite that and change it.
That's true, and we discussed that. The fire district was saying that they probably don't have sufficient amounts of paint, or budget for sufficient amounts of paint. And we discussed the possibility of partnering with them on that, depending on how much paint was needed and how much it was going to cost. Plus the adopt a hydrant program, they would actually be paying for the paint themselves.
Right.
And we would specify, of course, we would have the specific types for the bonnets, but they would be able to paint with whatever paint they had, as long as it was within specific guidelines, to do the body of the hydrant. So it would be a shared expense between the fire district, the city, and those who adopt it.
So are we talking solid bodies, or they can do what they want, because all that should be approved?
We will have to write up the guidelines, and we will develop that as you wish. If you wish it to be solid bodies and specific colors, then you would need to specify that in the guidelines. Some cities have, very flexible guidelines where they paint all kinds of things, clowns and Dalmatian dogs and all this other stuff. Some cities don't. Some cities say you can paint it red, green, blue, yellow, or pink. us to determine what our guidelines are.
How many fire hydrants are there?
Roughly 700 and some?
Yeah, a whole bunch.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And how long do you expect this project to last?
Well, we were kind of hoping to get it started in October, and I'm sure we won't get it done by the winter time, and we'd probably just start it right back up in the springtime. And this could be an ongoing program that would continue to recycle our painting responsibilities and so on and so forth throughout the years, so that they are maintained.
Hopefully it'll be done sometime around the same time we move the monument to the Veterans Memorial out here.
We are also working on that. Yes. And the only other thing I have is that next week we will be having a public hearing and a special board of aldermen meeting regarding our 2022 tax rates. They are not changing. They're going to be remaining the same for property taxes and personal property, real estate and personal property taxes. That meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, August 23rd. The hearing is at 5:25 p.m. and then the Board of Aldermen meeting is at 5:30 right after that hearing. And that's all I have.
Mr. Hyde.
Nothing at this time.
Chief?
We went over ours early this morning.
Okay.
It was a lot.
Mr. Sullivan?
Nothing at this time.
Alderman Beeland? Do any of the board members have anything?
I have a couple of questions. I didn't make the department head meeting this morning. Where are we on the Purple Heart City designation signs? Have we gotten any further on ordering what we need to get those
I
installed?
think we have everything we need. I did find whatever the contract is with MoDOT last week. So I was able to get a copy of that. And as far as me reading it, there is no, I guess it's an in perpetuity type thing. There's no end to it. So we just need to, I'll have Chris call and locate and we'll get those signs put up where the map is supposed to be, hopefully here in the next couple of weeks.
How many signs did we have?
1, 2, 3, 5, I think.
Okay, so that's not going to be a big time.
No.
Okay.
And those are coming like right into city limits or something?
Yeah, so I think there's one on TT by the city limit sign, there'll be one on 47, one on 30, up by the Legion, by the overpass, one on 30 out by the village, and then one on Virginia Mines, right where you come into city limits right there.
Do they have to have their own post, or can they be put on the
No,
same
they have to be a
sign?
separate post, and it has to be, it's either 50 or 75 feet inside the city limits from the city limit. There's a specified distance. I'll have to figure out what that is before we put them up.
Thank you.
That's great, yes.
And then you mentioned it, but I'll say it again, Veterans Memorial and the monument, moving of the monument. Where are we with those two things?
I can answer one.
Okay.
Clayton Huff and Mark Robbins from I-44 Truck Center, tentative next Tuesday, waiting for the final to see if that's when they're going to do it. I guess it's going to be weather depending, but they're supposed to let us know in advance, but it's tentative next Tuesday morning.
Okay. And then Veterans Memorial.
We're still working on that. We did remove the tree out in the corner there in preparation for the excavation for the unit. We're checking with the concrete contractors to find out how we're going to separate those concrete blocks into blocks and move them over to the other site. We just have to get with the concrete contractor to get that done.
And so there's no timeline set for that? We're still working
Not
towards
yet.
that?
We're still working toward that, yes.
In my experience with concrete, it's easier to move it when it's flowable than it is when it's already hard.
Yeah.
And
That is true.
I think that's gonna be quite a waste of money moving the slab.
I don't think we'll be able to move that whole slab.
A truck could come from the plant and put the new one right there on the spot and have it finished while they're still figuring out how to move that big chunk out there. How many yards was that? 3 yards, maybe 2.5?
I don't know, I wasn't there when they poured it, so I'm not sure.
Maybe 5,000 pounds or 4,000 yards, 8,000, almost 10,000 pounds you're gonna be moving. So I don't see that happening.
Is your goal to try to save the handprints section? Is that the?
We are,
thing that we're
that's,
talking about.
that's the whole idea, is to save the handprint sections.
Just those sections. But yeah, we're gonna have to have a whole.
And I've not seen this done, but I've been told by contractor guys that there are now, they have some sort of a vacuum system. I talked to a guy that had to remove a concrete basement floor the other day that his guys poured bad. And they cut it into 5-foot square sections, and they had this little walk-behind vacuum that they were able to pick the pad, like you drive it up over the pad, it picks the pad up, and you can drive it out and drop it, and then they were able to pick it up with their skid steer and put it in a dumpster or break it up or whatever, so they didn't have to do that. I have not seen one of those things. I don't know if we can rent them. I don't know how expensive they are. But it was something that I was gonna look into, Bert, to be able to maybe try to save some of those handprints. Because we have had 2 or 3 people who have come in who those veterans are no longer with us. So that was important to them to be able to save those. And I'm not 100% sure how to do that or if we can do it, but if I can do a little bit of research to try to figure that out, if there is a way that's not astronomically expensive.
Well, basement floor is only 3 inches to 4 at the most, and they do make a chainsaw blade that cuts through concrete, but you're still talking lots of money. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't cut concrete for nothing.
Nope.
It's expensive. It's like digging out rock for a building site, you know. Rock is the biggest mover there is.
Yep.
Is there a way we can do an impression of the handprints of the people that are gone? Like clay
Just in
or?
case those get broken.
Yes, you could with plaster.
Yeah, and then
Police department could do that.
Well, yeah, back in the old days. We got new stuff now.
I mean, I think we should be looking into pouring a whole pad and then seeing if we can save or
these
preserve.
impressions.
Yeah, so we can get this moving forward.
Yeah. So we'll go to plan B. I didn't see a park report, but is there any progress with getting that bridge in the disc golf area? Can somebody enlighten me a little bit about that? That's hazardous. It's not roped off or anything. We still have people playing golf down there. I just feel bad because those people put a lot of time and money in a bridge, and then it was replaced and washed away. So I don't think we can call on them to help us much anymore, but I would like to see that done. That's a great asset. Here we have people that come from all over the county, and I think it does not look good on our behalf to have that. There's no way to walk there. They have to come out on the road, and that culvert is dangerous.
Right.
Nick and the guys were down there. It's been a little while before all the water main breaks started happening.
Right.
Didn't he say that they're gonna have to use concrete in there?
Well,
To
so
concrete the,
Nick and I
concrete
talked
it
about
down?
it, I don't even know what day it is, yesterday, maybe Friday, I don't remember. But, so I mean, basically there's only 3 options in my opinion. You either have to, make a ramp slope down flat across the creek and pour concrete in there and make it a low water crossing essentially. So if the creek's running water and they have to get through there, their feet are gonna get wet. Or we redo the pipe thing and do a little bit more calculating and figure the right size of pipes and pour a concrete top on it and get them the right length to where we have a 3-to-1 slope on each side to where we don't have to have a handrail. Or we rebuild the bridge. So, and I mean,